And we're live.
And we're live. Hello, welcome to another Master Films podcast. I'm your host, Jack Hayward. On the show today, we have George, who's
Hello.
April O'Neil, and Ryoga, who is an anime character.
I was
Hello?
about to say that.
Yogurt Rinsik. Yogurt. Blech! Now my tongue's tied. Yogurt Rinsik. Oh my God, what's going on with my tongue twister? Yogurt Rinsik at yourself.
Ah, God, my throat. Damn it. Ow, my throat. Damn it.
Well, I don't have a cartoon character because I did do my hair up. I went to town, so I thought I'd look pretty for the podcast.
But you have the aesthetics of one.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I suck.
You should get my sunglasses as well.
Badass.
Sunglasses indoors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be the Adventure Time Bomb special. So there was across 5 days. There was technically 6 episodes, but she's called it a 5-episode thing.
Yeah.
Which all like built up to the big season finale. So
Yeah.
So how do you want to break this down? Do you go if you like it or hate it? Do you want to do it episode by episode?
I think we should just talk about it as a whole. As a whole, though, how do I put this? Oh, I wrote this down with Proto. This is one of the most anticlimactic piles of ass I have ever seen in my life.
And why'd you say that?
This pretty much sums up like all of my problems with Adventure Time currently. Like the episodes beforehand do nothing to build you up for the big finale. They're subtle, like small bits near the endings and some bits at the beginning, but for the most part, the entire most of it is completely fucking pointless. There's nothing really to get you hyped up for the big. There's nothing weaving and connecting it. It's not like, say, the Avatar 4-part finale where it's constantly progressing, it's constantly building up to the big showdown. Here, there's just nothing. Sometimes there's a little bit of something, then nothing. Big finale, big payoff. What the fuck was that? Ending.
Well, I'll tell you what. Before we dive into this, let's just do a quick episode recap of the past 5 episodes. So Monday started with "You Forgot Your Floaties," where
Which is not a very threatening title for a finale, I might add. Seriously, who names one of their episodes of the finale? Who? You forgot your floaties. Like I said with Proto, that sounds like a name of a fucking Dora the Explorer episode.
so anyway, so that's it opens with Finn and Jake searching for Glob's helmet after it's falling to Ooh, and then Betty takes it, and then Betty goes to Magic Man's house where Finn and Jake following, and then Finn and Jake get turned into an egg and a bowl of soup respectively. And then some stuff happens. I think Magic Man loses his powers, and then Betty gets the powers. And I think Betty goes a bit crazy, it looks like. I'm a bit confused.
That ending was just fucking insane. Like, the episode itself was just kind of mediocre overall, but then the ending just comes out of nowhere, and it's just like this giant what the fuck? Like, it just suddenly just goes off the wall. It's just like, it's got like
Actually,
a graph. You go like...
I wouldn't say it as off the wall as if you really observe the episode closely. Is that according to Betty, she actually notices that most magic users, in order to get their to have their powers realized at full potential, have to show a certain type of insanity, either being one of complete madness or one of complete sadness. Magic Man actually pointed it out. In his backstory, that in order to create Margles, the defense system for Mars against Gold, he actually had to be sad enough to be able to create her. And there's this in the final scene where Betty had Magic Man's powers. She had a vision of Simon crawling out of the pool, and then Simon muttered something, but it's completely muted. But if you read the lip sync, Simon said, "You forgot your floaties." So that has a very deeper meaning as to what became the fate of Betty. So, in observation, the vision the title simply said that as Betty tries to learn more about magic in order to cure Simon of his curse as the Ice King, she herself also gets dragged into the pool, so to speak, of madness and sadness, and she doesn't have a flotation device, a floaty, as the title suggests, to keep her from being
Wow.
insane.
That's
Wow.
really that's really deep.
Wow.
So
I would have never thought of that.
that's basically so all this visual has a deeper meaning, and you have to remember that this is storyboarded by Jesse Moynihan, and Jesse Moynihan is well known to create stories like this where it has a much deeper meaning than what is at face value.
Oh wow.
So
I think
if you want to see this in another way, Betty's transformation into the Magic Man would be similar to how Harley Quinn got influenced by the Joker's laughing gas and became an insane maniac herself.
yeah. I think I mean, you explaining it, it does sound amazing. I think the problem with it is like at face, on the surface, it is very incoherent,
Yeah.
and you do have to appreciate like this is a kids show, so like most of the audience, at least the target audience, is going to be, about 10. So like, I mean, usually like if you're making stuff for all ages, and it's airing on Cartoon Network, then face value, you've got like a very simple, child-friendly setup, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you'd have like subtler jokes and themes going on underneath that children might miss, but adults can get. While this episode, like you said, like it's more of an art piece, a very good piece of art piece. Now that you've explained it, but can you I can't imagine if an 8-year-old was watching this, like how they would get the episode.
Yeah.
I think from what I see, if I were a 10-year-old, because I remember he would probably, the only thing that'll probably matter to the 10-year-old is Betty becoming the new Magic Man, but the deeper meaning will probably something he will probably never get. So that's a thing there. Plus the fact that it did show Finn and Jake as a piece of giant bread. And of course, there's the again, this is more for the 80 hardcore fan here. The introduction of the creature known as Gulb, who, according to Magic Man, consumed his wife and erased her from existence. Now, since that episode aired, there has been several theories as to who Gulb really is and whether or not he truly exists, because this marks his second appearance in the show. Somewhere in the past episode, there was an episode called Pohoy, where Finn dreams where he was in a pillow world, where he had a wife and
Oh
kids.
Yeah.
And he died of
I actually
old
like that episode a lot.
he died of old age there, and then as he dies, there was this giant being that was about to eat him, but he got out of the way. It turns out that's actually the very same creature that ate Magic Man's wife.
Okay. So we don't know what creature it is.
So according to Magic Man, its name is Gulb, and he said that one day Gulb will actually arrive on Mars and eat everything out of existence. So does that mean that in the case of Pohoy, the episode Pohoy, that Pillar World actually existed, and the reason why Finn can't remember his wife and family is that Gulb erased them out of existence. So that's a deeper implication there.
Wow.
So again, this is something that for the adult fans is something more to ponder about, but the kids probably wouldn't notice that.
Well, to be honest,
This is fucking deep shit.
I don't fucking get it. Like, I think that's the problem with Adventure Time. Is like something will happen, like a season ago or something. It's like one random episode, and then it'll be meaningful in like 100 episodes later. And there's actually one episode in the finale that actually points out to that. Remember, if you remember in the season 2 episode, it came from the Nightosphere, where they featured the first appearance of Marceline's dad. He talked to Gunther and he said, "Of all of Earth's greatest monsters, you are by far the most evil one I encountered." Who would have thought? Everybody thought that was just a joke, but it turns out it was not. By the time we saw the third part of the finale, which is about Orgolorg. Yeah, I remembered that. I think that was one of the more like clear things that didn't matter so much if you forgot it. While with this,
And then
it's like oh, I've
and
never
then
seen it
turns out
before.
became relevant now in the six-part
Yeah,
finale.
and I mean like the thing with Adventure Time, and that's a really good example. Is like you don't know whether it's just like some random ass Adventure Time is shit, or it's actually like part of this greater structure that you're not aware of, and like it can work right with Gunther, like that joke that works absolutely fine because you know if you didn't see it or didn't think about it, you can still enjoy the episode and not be confused.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like a funny twist. But like if you do remember it, there's like a deeper level of enjoyment that you can have, like I did. While stuff like this is like random ass thing ages ago, and then suddenly it's super important. And if you forgot about it, like I did, you're like completely lost to the plot. It's very hard to follow.
I would
Yeah.
have to agree because the fact that
Yeah, because like the thing with this kind of thing, this is my biggest problem with Adventure Time. From like, full disclosure, I gave up watching the show like months ago. I only watch it every now and then because I want to catch up with like the podcast and stuff, and I like talking about like big things and see what they're talking, what the hype is about. The biggest problem with it for me is that most of the subtext they have there is just there. It's not added, like it's not weaving into the story. It's not there per se, like to make the story improve. It's just there for the most part, and it's there for you to interpret it. Whereas like a good story, I'll use a good example. The movie The Babadook does this really well, where the movie's basically about a mother dealing with the ideas of grief and with her son, but when she reads a pop-up book, this monster thing just suddenly appears into her mind, but it's never made completely clear whether or not that thing is real or if it's just her dealing with this idea. And it's a really interesting subtext, and it's not just. But even without that subtext, the movie itself, the story itself, still works nonetheless. Here, though, it's just subtext. There's no real plot point to it. It's just kind of abstract for the sake of being abstract and just weird for the sake of being weird. I admit it's an interesting concept. It's a really, really interesting concept how do you break it down, but still, I feel like the point stands.
I mean, like, Ryan, did you figure this out by yourself, or did you go on like any forums or anything?
what I couldn't hear you.
Did you go on any forums to figure this out, or did you do it by yourself?
Part of this is that my personal observation.
Hmm.
The other part was that I did watch the while I was watching all the six-part podcast, I was watching it with the rest of the forums, as well as 4chan and Reddit because these two are pretty much have a deeper knowledge than I do. So as I was watching, I was also reading some of their comments and how how they managed to get up this kind of these crazy theories as to what's going on. But the one thing I do notice that by the time the finale came out, the final part of the finale, it is pretty much a mixed bag. Some find it great, others find it underwhelming. Those that defended it,
I honestly find the fan. Oh, can you hear me,
those that say let's say the finalists on the road say that that in the end nothing has changed, nothing actually happened. But those who say but there are others who say otherwise because of the fact that there were indeed some changes.
Well,
Um,
I'd argue like I'm not defending the finale any like the finale for me was just kind of weird. Like it was like the ending of 2001: A Space Odyssey, but
Yeah.
meets the ending of like Interstellar at the same, but somehow even more insane than both of them combined. But the thing with it is that with the argument that nothing really happens, I disagree because a really interesting idea comes in with the comet. Spoilers, by the way. Why am I giving this? Basically what happens is that the comet breaks. It reveals this otherworldly entity, and it just breaks down the ideas that Finn is at the closest point of reaching full power by abandoning like hope, friendship, trust, loyalty, all these aspects, and then by doing that, he's completely isolated himself to reach maximum power. That's actually really, really interesting.
Hmm.
But then after that gets dropped, it immediately just ends. It just comes out, oh, Martin just, and the comet thing just vanished in the middle of nothing, and then like Jake comes by like, with the banana man in the rocket ship or
that
something, and then just head back to the Earth. What? What?
Now that's another thing that a lot of the forums were talking about is that all of a sudden Jake pops up with Banana Man, and as if out of nowhere. But again, there's this whole debate going on. I was reading about it. This is interesting, is that people seem to forget that if you remember the episode The Vault, where Finn remembers that he was reincarnated before as Shoko,
That
the
episode is
girl,
actually
the
really,
young
really
girl.
fucking good.
Um, he remembered that his very first incarnation was actually a comet. So that simply meant that and that revelation that he was talking to that the comet that he saved was actually a part of him, heavily implies that Finn was once a cosmic entity. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
saw that. I think that's really interesting. I think
so
there's also this theme going on of these cosmic entities being wrapped up in another form. So
right.
we had Ice King, not Ice King. We had Finn. We've got Gunther. Um,
The Lich.
the Lich. Yeah, that with Sweet Pea. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's more, but so like maybe that what's it called, Gold or whatever is going to be.
Gold. So it's almost implying that I don't know. Some people actually compare Finn's revelation as a cosmic entity, and given this choice of you're becoming a cosmic entity again, or remain a human of Ooh, to that of the anime End of Evangelion, if you guys have seen it,
No.
wherein okay, so basically you guys gotta have see it sometime. I think um, though do have to warn you if you're gonna watch it, you gotta prepare yourself because it is considered one of the most depressing animes out there. Basically, what happens at the end of the Evangelion is that this main character Shinji Ikari, he basically is the last remaining human to decide what to do with the human race after everybody turned into liquid as part of being into one being. Either he becomes part of it, this one cosmic entity, or reject it. He chose the latter, and so the human race is gone. He's the only one left. So
What a,
that
what a
was quite a
dick.
downer.
Yeah, what a dick.
But Finn is pretty much so in the case of the finale here, Finn was given the same choice where he would have to give up everything that he used to be that he remembers as a human and all of his emotions are to become a cosmic entity again and travel around the universe with a comet, or continue his life as a human. And ooh, he chose the latter in part that because he did spend a lot of time building himself up. And if you notice throughout the season, Finn has shown a sense of maturity. I mean, in the time where he was alone with Princess Bubblegum, normally he would show that he had a crush on her or try to get it in her, but now not he doesn't do that anymore. He's completely cool with Bubblegum as
Yeah.
both her friend and as his champion, and as her champion rather. And there have been several instances in this season where Finn was actually calling out to the cosmos. So this simply implies that Finn is slowly embracing himself, knowing that he was once a cosmic entity.
Hmm.
So this led to this theory that um, if this continues, then probably somewhere down the road, Finn would eventually become what as Sylvia would say, a demigod, in order to combat a more powerful entity such as Gaul, in order to save Ooh.
What was that? It mentioned the Lich King at one point as well, didn't it? Like
Right.
I think the Lich King and the Ice King both like kind of flashed up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to see like how this show's like come. Like you remember like season 1, it was very like simple. You know, the Ice King's baddie, and there's like funny jokes like just like one-off things like Lincoln on Mars. Like, I think that was in the pilot one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And like then
Yeah,
somebody like
I am surprised that you I am surprised that despite the fact that Abe Lincoln is the king of Mars, he still becomes a prominent character throughout the series without any explanation as to whether this guy is indeed Abraham Lincoln or he's an alien who happens to decided to take the form of Abraham Lincoln.
Or
He
maybe
Hey,
is
Abraham Lincoln.
if we live in a world where there can exist a version of Abraham Lincoln that's also a vampire hunter, I'm good with anything.
or a zombie
maybe,
hunter.
maybe Abraham Lincoln was a comet himself.
That would be fucking awesome.
That would be indeed awesome. We know for the only thing we know is that he was immortal, and then he gave up his life to save Jake and as a deal with death. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, carry on.
okay, just to close what I think about the finale, I would say that personally, I still prefer the season 4 finale, wherein the Finn wished that the Lich never existed and created this alternate reality.
Yes, I
That was
agree.
the best of all the season finales
Yeah.
I've seen. This one was okay. I like. I am blown away by the fact that
That finale
Finn
was
is more than
fantastic.
just the Finn was more than just a simple human being. Well, he's not really human. He's a mutated human. That he is this cosmic entity, and the fact that Princess Bubblegum is no longer rules the Candy Kingdom. It's now the King of Ooh. I'm only hoping that with this slight change in the status quo, especially with Princess Bubblegum's case, that there would be stories of her trying to live out as a normal person rather than someone of royalty
Mm.
per se. We do know that in the 7th season there is going to be a 7 or 8 part miniseries
Is
that
that
focuses
just?
heavily on Marceline.
Yeah. That's going to be really good, I think.
That actually
I,
sounds
I
interesting.
do. I find it interesting,
Like, I
considering
would
the fact
really
that
be interested in knowing like some of the backstory of her, like, given the amount of subtext they've already given her in the past, like what 6 seasons now.
right, and I think it would be a good way to push Marceline back into a regular status because I as you may not know, Phineas and Ferb has pretty much ended its production. So Olivia Olson, the voice of Vanessa, there, she's no longer working for Disney. So more likely she'll be doing more of her voice work with Cartoon Network as Marceline. So I do hope that this show this show will pretty much push her character more as a series regular than as a guest character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just kind of reel it back. I mean, get out like kind of the deep plot threads and stuff. I mean, for me, when I like the actual like quality of the episodes, because I mean they were like of good quality Adventure Time. Like my problem, and I think this has been prevalent with Adventure Time probably since like season 4, especially 5, is that like stuff will happen, but there's really bad story flow, so stuff just gets like picked up and then dropped
Exactly.
without any like build up or anything. So, for example, like Princess getting deposed is like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like, and I think
It gets brushed off for the sake of like it doesn't make sense as well because it's an entire episode that they reveal it in, and then they just do nothing with it and focus on the other half of it, and then in the next episode they focus on the big finale thing.
like
So
yeah,
why
like,
bring it up in the fucking first place? It does nothing.
like
Just-
nothing happened, isn't it? And
Exactly.
it was the same thing at the start of season 6, because like season 5 finale had Finn's dad come back, and you know, it had that stuff with the arm, yeah. And then there was no mention of it or anything for like 6 episodes. It's like a character just like lost his arm. Like, where is the build up? Like, where is the emotion? Like, they just focus on random shitty episodes, like fucking a cinnamon bun episode or a James,
Oh, fuck that episode.
like just like random.
Here's the thing that
And that's actually
that-
the biggest problem I have with this series finale build-up. Like, a good amount of the episodes do nothing to build up for the episode. Like, what the fuck was up with that LSP episode with her babysitting? That could have just been a regular episode on its own. It's just nothing but her babysitting this fucking thing, and it does nothing. If you want to I get it. Like, you want to focus on this stuff. Like, if it's actually building up something, say, like, the Lich baby got out, and then she sees the comet, and then he becomes the Lich again and tries to, like, the comet harness his power. That would make sense. But no, nothing happens. Then you got, like, the Martin episode, which is nothing but, which is basically 11 minutes of Martin being possibly, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, possibly the biggest dick I have ever fucking seen in my life.
And you've seen a lot of gay porn.
I will have to agree on that. I mean,
Oh, do
Seriously,
you,
the guy
Ryan?
is a legitimate fucking bastard. Like, a legitimate bastard. Like,
I'm
first of all,
truly
he
legitimate.
leaves this fucking family of koalas. Fucking koalas takes their only source of food and leaves one of their own to the leader of the rebellion to be maimed and tortured as he robs this town of all their money and takes the fucking moth away. Just fucking hell.
I would. There's some people are now there's because of that people are now wondering who's worse, Martin or Grable Babel, because if you watch the episode Grable's 1000 plus, he's the one that actually started the incident of him being chased after by aliens because he killed somebody's wife during the wedding, and he considered himself a hero by fighting back, and Martin does the same thing, thinking he's a hero by having this.
I honestly think Martin's worse because what the shit he does, at least with being killed, it's over like really quick, and you just have like all the shit chasing after you. Here though, he gets away with it. At least this guy, the Grable guy, at least is crying, almost getting his punch hit. This guy gets off scot free. Everyone else around him just suffers. And I don't know about all of you, but I hate, and I do mean fucking hate shit like this in like any medium, books, TV, movies, you name it. I fucking despise it.
Oh, you're definitely gonna hate Code Geass then.
I think the point of Martin's character is like you love to hate him kind of thing, like you hate him.
But he's not even that like that lovable kind of hate. He's just a fucking dick. There's no redeeming element to him, and it's not funny as well. Like I don't know about you, but I do not find like a small old withering koala leader being like tortured by these like lightsaber staff things as this dick is just running up the stairs robbing these people. That's not fucking funny to me.
Well, I would say, like, I mean, the key moment for me is, you know, when Finn saw him and like accept the offer. Well, he made the offer himself to become like the cosmic entity. And like Finn just like looked at him like kind of accepting him like, oh yeah, you are always gonna be like that. Like for me, like, you know, if I was Finn in that position, it'd be kind of out of pity acceptance. But I think maybe it might be part of like Finn's character to like accept, and maybe like that's his cosmic entity, like he's like kind of like life and the Lich is death. So maybe that's why they have like this rivalry going on.
Right. I mean, again, it's because of that Finn is slowly it's pretty much embracing his origins as a cosmic entity. That's why he kind of have a different mindset after talking with Martin. I mean, Martin did say his last words to Finn before becoming part of the cosmic entity is that when you burn enough bridges, the only way you can move is forward. So it pretty much heavily implies that Martin
this guy
has
burned
done
a lot of bridges and left a lot of people to die and just ran away.
Yeah. Exactly.
Honestly, that wouldn't fucking surprise me if they based an entire episode around that. Like, just his backstory of him burning bridges and leaving people to die.
I mean, he can because he's done so much. He's done all of these screw ups so much that he's not feeling any guilt anymore. So all he has to do is move forward. And in a way, you could say in a way this is perhaps his repentance, however small it'll be, for all the screw ups he did, is even towards Finn by abandoning him while he does something that got him imprisoned alone. So in a way, it's sort of a blessing because Finn was able to be raised by Jake's parents, Joshua and Margaret, and grew up to become the hero of Ooh. So there's this had Martin kept Finn along with him, who knows how he ended.
God, the horror! Oh God! Oh, the image is it's horrifying. Oh.
So it's sort of a small blessing here that he did abandon Finn. Finn was raised by Josh and Margaret, and eventually he becomes this person that everybody admires.
Pretty
So
much.
Martin, for at least for a part, is proud of that, and is ready to accept being part of being part of the comet that wander around the universe and then poof
But
disappears.
really, is this the guy you want running the fucking universe? I mean, the guy can barely keep his facts straight for a few seconds. I wouldn't be
So
surprised by in like the beginning of season 7, like the first episode, the universe just entirely blows up by the end.
well, one thing we know is we really don't know what the Catalyst comet does, other than the fact that whenever a Catalyst comet, well, we won't be seeing another Catalyst comet for 1,000 years, because that's what explained in the episode Evergreen, which features the origin of the Ice Queen's campground. Again, there's just so, if you really look, if you really turn back, there's just so much lore going on here. That the comet comes to Uo at once every 1,000 years, and it's been established that the Lich is came to Uo 1,000 years prior to the start of the series. That's why he existed, and so we have another one that's about to hit Uo, but it was prevented. So we have to wait for another 1,000 years to see which one's going to come next. So
There might be some like time
there's this
travel shenanigans then.
That
yeah,
would
but
actually be really interesting.
that's the one thing I
I actually would like to
don't
see an
know.
episode like based around time travel where they actually go into like the past and see some of the older histories of you, or even the future. I've always been fascinated with the ideas of like exploring time travel. It's probably my favorite like storytelling device because it offers like so many creative possibilities you can do with it, like dystopian, the past, present, like all alternative realities. All of this set, the possibilities are literally endless. So I would be interested
Right.
in seeing that kind of stuff tackled.
Don't forget the fact that there is indeed a multiverse here, as explained by Prismo. That any wish that you made from Prismo actually affects one universe. So
Oh yeah, I
there's
love the
that.
multiverse.
So there's that. Um, Time travel, I don't think it has ever been introduced in Adventure Time before. We do see what happened 1,000 years in the future, what became of Wu. It's still a wasteland, and there's not much people left there. So something happened during 1,000 years later. So we don't know what. What else? There is more. There are indeed places other than heaven and hell. There is actually a place other than the land of the dead, the so-called dead worlds. That's why there's this. There was mentioned in several episodes where there are different versions of dead worlds, a place where you go when you die, and there are different levels of them. So those dead worlds actually mean alternate worlds that you can go to, but only if you die. So again, this is just world building around here. So bear with me on this. So going back to Pahoy, if you theorize that Pillow World is an actual world that Finn lived out throughout his life, and then he died of old age, and then went back to Ooh, that meant that there's this. It's possible that these dead worlds are alternate worlds people can go to once their life in the previous world is extinguished. So again, you
Yeah.
have this world building that you
Okay.
normally wouldn't notice until you look back to it. But going back to the issue that you had with it, let me address your issues with the Adventure Time. One of the things that that the series does suffer is the fact that they have this change of storyboarders. Many of the original storyboarders from the earlier seasons have left. Most notably, of course, Rebecca Sugar, who left to create Steven Universe,
Hmm.
and of course Ian Jones Quarry, and of course there's Patrick McHale, a storyboarder there. He left and then created Over the Garden Wall. So because of that, they have to bring new storyboarders in, and they have to have their own ideas. So what's happening with Adventure Time is you have these different storyboarders who have different ideas of what direction the show is going. So it's hard to imagine how you have these different storyboarders with different creative ideas be able to work together without conflict. Some I'm not speaking for a lot for other fans, but there are some who are saying that Sugar is criticized for making Adventure Time a little more relationship romantic in the episodes that feature Fiona and Cake, Simon Marcy, and all that, where it's more relationship deep as opposed to being more of an adventure or sort of that. And some people hated that. Now I don't. I know. So that's one problem there, that Sugar wanted to have more relationship development as opposed to a world building or story development that artists like Jesse Moynihan would do.
Which I honestly would honestly prefer, because I honestly take character development over like world building like that, because at least there's some progression. Whereas with world building, you're just constantly building on world building, but there's never really nothing there. Like there's nothing to admire about the world building because the characters aren't admiring at all. It just come there, go by, and then nothing else. They never mentioned it for like the next like season or so.
And another thing is that because of the fact that a lot of the modern people who do cartoons today have started their work earlier on Adventure Time. So Rebecca Sugar, of course, and Patrick McHale. Adventure Time is starting to become sort of a springboard for other animators to start their careers on, and then leave to start their own. So we know that Julia Vickerman, she's the creator of the CN pilot 12 Forever. She started her work in Yo Gabba Gabba on Nickelodeon, and then did various projects on Cartoon Network, including partly working at Adventure Time. So again, so that influenced her to do 12 Forever. So you're starting to see this pattern of more and more artists who worked on Adventure Time starting their own show. Even Skylar Page, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Skylar Page worked as a storyboarder for Adventure Time, and then he made his own show, Clarence. So
Yeah.
you're now seeing this pattern here, and because of that, you don't be surprised if I think Jesse Moynihan did mention that he may be leaving the show to start his own project. So that's another storyboarder leaving the show since season 1. So you're going to see this cycle going on as the show progresses. Remember, despite what's been going on, Adventure Time is still Cartoon Network's flagship series. So don't be surprised if this show will be going on for a few more years as we see more and more storyboarders come and go.
I think it should end like season 8, to be honest.
Yeah, when you've gone on for 8 seasons, I think that's about the time where it's kind of old, and you should have done something by then. If you keep going after that, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, there's already
Either that or
much
end with the
going
movie
on.
like SpongeBob was originally supposed to do. I think that would be fine as well. You know, just fucking find a way to take a break and just stop with all of this.
Yeah, I think we should start to think about stopping. So what we'll do is we'll say what our favorite episode was, and then and then we'll go on to our final thoughts. So George, what's your favorite episode rather?
I'd probably say the last one. It's not a great episode by any means, but it's better than the first 5 per se. It's actually the pacing is a lot better than the last. The biggest problem I had this finale with a lot of the episodes was the fucking pacing. And they went from one place to another, and then immediately when they did more exposition and stuff, it just came to a screeching halt, and I felt like I had whiplash. But at least with the finale, the part 2 of the finale actually had progression and pacing, and actually had somewhat of a decent payoff. But that's all I can really say about it.
Okay, what about you, Rygo? Which was your favorite one?
I don't know. There's a lot of shows that there's a lot of episodes that that I do like, and there are a lot of episodes that I do hate. I definitely do not like the sad face episode where Jake was stretching out, acting like
Absolute
sad
shit.
circus. That was utter crap. I hated it.
Yeah, I just meant this week though, rather than in general.
But so this week, I guess my favorite episode is basically is You Forgot Your Floaties. Basically, it's just this in part because shows it heavily implies that Simon will forever be a tragic character. I mean, if it comes, if it can, I mean, in the episode 1000 Grey Balls, they did show this giant flying creature that looks like the Ice King 1,000 years later. So that almost suggests that the Ice King never remained as the Ice King the rest of his life. Betty was supposed to find a way to cure him, but now that she's insane herself, all hope is lost. So it's so I would consider that as my most favorite, only because it's a tragedy for one particular character.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say I like the Sweet Pea episode. I'll explain. I'll explain.
That's it.
why.
I'm coming down to Britain, and I'm going to be strangling you within the next couple of weeks.
I hang on to your vagina, George. I'll explain.
Hey, just because the character I'm using as a profile picture has a vagina doesn't mean that I have one. I can show it in public if you want me to.
You probably get arrested for that. But anyway, I'll explain. So Sweet Pea, one, I really like the character of Sweet Pea. I think it's a very cute design, and I like the voice acting, and I like the backstory, like how it's so adorable. But obviously he's really like the Lich, so I like that. I like seeing Sweet Pea episodes. So I really like the previous one as well. The other thing is, I normally hate lumpy Space Princess focus episodes. I mean,
I despise her.
apart from the first one or two, I hate her character, and all the episodes with her as a main one in it just suck fucking dick so hard.
It's
Like-
the fucking understatement of the fucking
like,
decade.
Oh, don't forget that episode
With
guys.
Marceline.
Don't forget that episode where there's this implication that LSP took Finn's virginity
Oh,
Just
that's bullshit.
That episode was fucking bullshit.
just so Finn could get his arm back.
That was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. That's just dumb. I just mean like the one I was thinking of, like I think it was like Breakfast Princess, that episode. Fucking hell. That episode.
Princess Day, fucking horrible.
I thought Smell-O-Vision had been invented because it fucking stunk out my room when I put that on. That's how much of a shit it was.
Princess Day in 4D Smell-O-Vision.
I tell you what, I'm gonna have a massive shit after this podcast, and it's gonna nowhere near be as big a shit as that episode. And I had a burrito for lunch.
After that episode would make an entire all-night Taco Bell binge afterwards massacre. Look, and still wouldn't be as bad as that fucking episode.
But what I liked was like Lumpy Space Princess. Like, you know, she wasn't that annoying in this episode. I mean, like, she was very selfish, but unlike other episodes she was in, she actually had comeuppance, and she had like actual character development, not temporary character development, which I've seen before, where she momentarily feels guilty. It was like actual character development, where she did feel guilty and she had to take responsibility for something else. So I liked that as well, and I don't know, I just found it funny as well. You know, will you be sweet to me? And it's just like going around, like crawling into people's houses. Will you be sweet to me? It's just like, get out of here. So yeah, I just thought it was funny.
It's like it's a combination of being completely cute and utterly creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you guys watched the link I gave you on the Massachusetts Facebook on that PBS article of what made of nostalgia being part of.
Oh yeah, I've seen that video.
I think
And
okay.
And it pretty much shows in the case of Sweet Pea, wherein you're this. It's so cute and creepy at the same time. So this light and dark coming in at the same time, and you're feeling both things. So I would agree as to what gave this Sweet Pea such an appeal. That there's this cute giant baby who talks nice things to you, while deep inside is this some evil shit that's gonna rip your soul.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that. I mean, I think because like I forget it floats when you explain it, Ryoga, like it sounds amazing, but like I just didn't get it the first time I watched it. That kind of like held it back a little bit for me. And the finale, like I did enjoy, but again, there were just so many like plot threads going on. Were very, and there wasn't enough build up to them. So, but yeah, yeah, still good, still enjoyable. Yeah. So like final. So what are your final thoughts about the bomb? Like, not like on a deeper sense. I think we talked about that like enough. But I mean, maybe like a little bit what to expect. And do you think it worked? Like having 5 episodes, one every day. What about George? You go first, buddy.
In that regard, I think it's pretty fucking awful. Like I hate this method of like just having 5 episodes go beforehand, which could have just been like on their own, like weekly episodes, and then just have the finale. But the finale itself, in general, is actually okay as it works. Again, at least something it actually pays off for something, unlike some of the Steven Universe kind of bombs.
Yeah.
But it's still not like nothing mind blowing or anything. Like I think a season finale that really got me hot piped was probably the season finale for House of Anubis, the first season I believe. Because no way, it was the second season because that was a really good cliffhanger. They left off on. I think another one was. I want to say probably Once Upon a Time, the first season. I haven't seen the next couple of seasons though.
Yeah.
But it's still an okay finale if you're a fan of the show. I don't know if you're a fan of the show and you've caught up with all the episodes of real fan favorites. Maybe it's fucking incredible. I don't fucking know. I'm just a guy who just like watches this shit for the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Riker?
Well, not surprisingly, because I have watched the show from the very beginning, so I will say that I would disagree that it's awful. I think it's a great finale. It has its world build up. It does try to go back to things that came out in the earlier episodes. I do agree though that the finale is not as I said before, it's not as great as the 4th season finale, but it did execute it. There were a few points that were missing that I kind of wished they put in, but I understand they couldn't because of time constraints. It's just an 11-minute episode. The Lich was supposed to play a role here, but due to time constraints, he wasn't in. But regardless of that, it was good. I am looking, and there is some change in the status quo. We do see at least some character development, especially in the case of Finn and Princess Bubblegum. So I do hope that this change in character carries over to the next season.
Same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yourself, Jack?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I thought it worked. Like, I just like having 5 episodes in a row is a very good idea. I think I would have preferred. I think if the episodes had like worked better together, I think I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
Like for it to be like 5 really tight episodes, I think that would have been really cool.
Or have it be like kind of like the 4-part finale of Avatar, where it's like constant momentum and building up to the final payoff. But here it's just like 5 regular episodes and then 1 episode with a big payoff, and then see in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think I might have to watch it and like maybe delve into like some forums so I get it all properly. But
just to add like there. Well, now that I'm looking back, we have going back and looking at all this world building. It did remind me of the time Over the Garden Wall came out, and I had to rewatch it again just to understand the world around that show. So I can actually get that same feeling here, but at least as far as this 5-part finale is concerned. Jack?
Yeah. Maybe next time. I mean, like I said, I'd like to be like really tight and stuff. But I still enjoyed it. I just thought it was a little bit incoherent in some places. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say really. Hello.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Chips,
Um,
ice cream.
I like that episode. I thought that was a good episode.
Uh, oh, sorry. I was just getting my plane tickets to Britain to come to you.
Well, I'll get the lube ready, George. You're legal over here, buddy.
Already, already the leather.
But I see your big penis.
God, what the fuck is wrong with us?
AIDS.
Believe it.
Yeah, I think we're all done here, aren't we?
Very
Yeah.
much.
So that was the Adventure Time bomb. So join us next week where we're going to be doing Steven Universe bomb, which probably won't be as eventful as this week.
Actually, not next week, because this week is the Uncle Grandpa bomb.
Oh, we're not covering that shit.
I even made a fan video of that just to
Seriously, there's going to be a bomb for Uncle Grandpa? Are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Well, this is what Cartoon Network is doing.
I mean, I'm one of
for
the
the
few who
entire
doesn't
summer.
like hate Uncle Grandpa. From what I've seen of it, it's okay, but what about it says, hey, we should make this its own epic grand finale for its first season or something? Like, what the fuck?
Well, let me explain. Well, we may not know Cartoon Network. Instead of doing all new episodes on Thursdays like they do before, they're now doing a week of premieres per show. So we have Adventure Time this week, Uncle Grandpa this coming Monday, and then Steven Universe, then regular show, and then they'll finish June with Teen Titans Go. We don't know what week of premieres will come in July, but it's most likely Gumball and Clarence, and probably the new ones like We Bear Bears and Wabbit, but we don't know at that point. And
Fucking
yeah,
Wabbit.
and the fact Sylvia, you know Sylvia and I had actually talked about this with regards to Uncle Grandpa, and I told her that I was looking at the ratings for Uncle Grandpa. They've been going some very, very good ratings, having over 1 million views. And I told her that as long as shows like Uncle Grandpa, Teen Titans Go and Clarence, no matter how much you hate it, so long as it gets over 1 million views, it's still gonna be around.
I
But
mean,
more
Uncle
important.
Grandpa, I think it's
More
more
importantly,
what people give it credit for. Like, it's not offensive by any means. It's not even. When you get down to it, it actually does have a good heart, but it's just. It's kind of like watching a retarded person make a cartoon, and he does it like has his heart in the right place. He does his best job to write and animate, and you just watch it, and it's so overly mediocre that you don't have the guts to tell them that his work is this bad. So you just say,
Actually,
yeah,
George, let me make a rebuttal of that. This is something I kind of wish we had time to talk about the pilots that came out, because this is something that that I actually discovered while I was reading the pilots. I did review the pilots twice. One just by myself, and one with my niece and nephew. Who my niece was 13 and my nephew was 10. So they're pretty much the target demographic here. And there was this show called Jammers, which pretty much is a lot like Uncle Grandpa, but a lot worse. Probably had a lot of Ren and Stimpy, the worst part of SpongeBob. Pretty much, it's terrible. I find it completely awful. But when my niece and my nephew watched it, I was surprised at their reaction. They actually loved the show. They love the pilot rather. They love the weirdness. They love the randomness. They love the awful character designs. They even love the part where a guy creates a girlfriend for his best friend's date out of his own fart.
Ew, that's just.
It's disgusting, but they love it. And knowing that these kids, that my niece and nephew love this kind of grossness, makes me think twice as to why Uncle Grandpa is still around. or
And
even
then
Teen Titans Go because they're awful. Yes, but for some reason, but for some strange reason, and based on my experience, kids dig it.
well, even as a kid, when if I saw shit like this, I don't think I would have been into it if like your nephews were.
I would agree. I would get. I don't watch Uncle
I
Grandpa
mean,
that
but
much.
then again, I was like, when I was a kid, I spent most of my time binging on like binging on Disney movies and Pixar stuff, and watching SpongeBob and Blue's Clues and stuff. So maybe I'm not the type of person for that kind of shit.
I don't know. I think I remember the Garbage Pail Kids came out in the 80s.
Oh God, that fucking movie! Jesus Christ!
I think I was really young and I actually liked it when I was. But then again, I'm a guy too, so.
From what I've seen of
Can't take
that movie's on my blacklist. By the way, I refuse to watch that movie. From what I've
even
seen from like the Nostalgia Critic review of it, it's bad, but I just don't want to see like how fucking bad it can get.
garbage. There's even another one. I think there's about that the giant tomatoes invading the sea,
Oh
attack the killer
Jesus!
tomatoes. There
Oh
was also
yeah,
another poem. But more to the point that it's just, but more to the point. It's this reason that that Uncle that these kids like the weirdness and grossness. I mean, I think in part that's also why Ren and Stimpy was popular. I never liked Ren and
Do
Stimpy.
not compare Uncle Grandpa to Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. Well, the thing with Ren and Stimpy, like I've actually been watching a bit of Ren and Stimpy as of late. The thing with Ren and Stimpy is that it's the aesthetics and design of it is a lot like Looney Tunes in a sense. Like it's very random, very wacky stuff. But it's also it's very well structured in that regard. Like there's actual like it feels like the writers actually sat down and creatively put together this whole thing. I think best example is probably the episode with the Stimpy's invention. That's a great example on that. But it's not as from what I've seen of the show. It's not as gross as some people give it credit for. Like I have seen much more disgusting things. I don't know. Man, I've only seen like I want to say like 5, maybe 6 episodes of the show, so I wouldn't really know.
Right. So more yeah, it's kind of like that. So for that, just ending this because we know we're kind of extended ourselves a bit.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
why that's why we're definitely having a what I would call a Uncle Grandpa bomb this
Yeah.
coming Monday, all
Uh,
the way to Friday, and then we're gonna have Stephen bomb
you
More
know,
like
actually,
more like
Monday.
a shit bomb.
at this point, I'm actually kind of curious to see what exactly Uncle Grandpa's bomb is going to be. Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be like this spectacular train wreck, or just going to be like something really anticlimactic, or just it actually ends up being really fucking good. I don't know, but I'm actually curious to check it out now.
I'm actually curious as well, considering that I did watch a few episodes of Uncle Grandpa, especially after the crossover event,
That
and
crossover was great, by the way.
I don't know I don't know why a lot of people already hated it long before it came out, but I loved it. I
I think it's because it
I
was
gave it a perfect
self-aware.
score.
Like it was aware, it was aware of like how much people were going apeshit over the idea that it just kind of ran with it, which I think made it really fucking hilarious in that regard.
Yes, and the fact that I don't know this that Uncle Grandpa is just this. I would say if Uncle Grandpa were to have a crossover at Adventure Time, the Lich would be definitely worried, considering that Uncle Grandpa is a cosmic entity himself.
That would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to see that, to be honest.
I would pay so much fucking money to say. I actually have $500 in the bank right now. I would pay all of that just to see that actually fucking happen.
So if you're listening to this, Further Raider Studios, contact Peter Brownguard, make it happen. We will definitely see. I would like to
I
see
I am
Uncle
praying to
Grandpa
you right
somehow
now.
ending up
Right,
in
watch
Ooh
that.
and messing things up. Oh wait, I think
That
isn't it at the end of Steven Universe he did have the list, a checklist that he did
yes,
visit
yes,
with
yeah,
Finn?
he did.
Yeah.
I honestly want to see like that entire list, like made up like of mini crossover episodes, like an anthology series of Uncle Grandpa, where he's just helping out like all those other people on the list. Like I would kill to see him cross over with Ed and Eddie and Dexter's Lab and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
Jesus,
awesome.
oh Jesus, my throat is fucking hurting like mad. Damn it.
I think we should wrap up. I think we've like talked. So I just noticed that we've talked for ages.
Yeah. That's the joys of Uncle Grandpa. It believes you're doing massive tangents for no reason.
That's a good one.
So that was Adventure Bomb, and then we talked about Uncle Grandpa and stuff for ages. So,
I guess you could say it was quite the adventurous time bomb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, come on. This is the Messages podcast. We have to at least incorporate one terrible pun into it, at least.
So yeah, we'll see you next week, like movie of the week or something.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been the Master Team Podcast, and we'll see you guys later.
Ciao.
All right.